rappers behind the scene that want to talk about it and they're scared. But sweetheart, I'm not scared. I'm legendary in these streets. You know how many artists I've spoken to behind the scenes that are too afraid to speak up?
So we'll speak, y'all.
I'm gonna speak because y'all can't touch me. I am completely protected. I am protected by God. Y'all don't see that by now?
Nicki Minaj just came with the real receipts, calling out Roc Nation for allegedly setting up rappers, and she's not keeping it quiet. She's dropping big names like Jay-Z and Desiree Perez, the same Perez who's a convicted felon turned government informant. But Nicki ain't just throwing shade. She's pointing directly at Roc Nation being tied to Tory Lanez's prison time, 6ix99's snitch label, Casanova's RICO charges, and even more wild cases. And here's the wildest part. Everybody who speaks up about Desiree Perez, they all end up in trouble. But things took an even messier turn when Desiree's own daughter came forward and backed Nicki. She even claimed her own mother had her locked up in a mental hospital for no reason. If Desiree really did that to her own daughter, imagine what she might try to do to Nicki, especially now that Nicki's leaking what she claims is proof that Roc Nation's working hand in hand with the government. And if you think that sounds too wild to be real, go check for yourself. Desiree's daughter went public and exposed everything. But here's the kicker. Not one major media outlet covered it. That's exactly why Nicki's putting it all out there and showing what she says is solid evidence that Roc Nation's in deep with the feds. And if that's true, then every rapper who dares to speak up could be in serious danger, including Nicki herself.
Those artists have no clue what is happening. Y'all don't know what the we go through. At the workplace, you know how many women, I said this on Twitter, get strategically blackballed out of their positions when they're a little too strong, when they're a little too smart, and get told that they're angry black women and they're having a breakdown?
Here's what Nicki actually dropped, and it's straight up explosive. She posted a screenshot that claims Roc Nation and Desiree Perez have been teaming up with federal agents to watch artists and use their legal issues to keep them under control. The screenshot doesn't hold back. It straight up calls Desiree a confidential informant for federal law enforcement. And this ain't just some random message from the internet. Nicki's post is taken from a real lawsuit filed by none other than Desiree Perez's own daughter, Dare Hadley. According to those court docs, Desiree had Dare locked in a mental institution with no medical reason at all. Dare even dropped body cam footage showing the exact moment she was taken away. And she says her own mother, Desiree, set the whole thing up. Now this part is straight up disturbing. According to Dare's lawsuit, Desiree Perez allegedly used her money, power, and industry clout to tear apart Dare's marriage to her husband, Jevon Hadley. Dare claims her own mother threatened to Baker act her if she didn't leave Jevon. That's Florida's infamous law, the Florida Mental Health Act of 1971, which lets cops, doctors, or judges forcibly lock someone up for 72 hours if they're seen as a danger due to mental illness. But the real shock? Dare says the reason Desiree wanted her to leave Jevon was because he's black. That's right. Dare alleges her mom went full-blown racist and told her, "I'm going to Baker Act you if you stay with that N-word. I will have you committed." Desiree Perez, the same woman handpicked by Jay-Z to lead Roc Nation, getting accused of something this dark? It's wild. And Dare didn't just stop at words. She backed it up with receipts. Her lawsuit includes pages of medical records showing she was completely sober and had no signs of any mental health breakdown when she was thrown into that institution. Dare also posted these records on X, saying she had blood tests, urine screens from 3 different places, and even a hair follicle test that can show over 90 days of drug history, all clean. She added that she had over 10 years of primary care records proving she was stable the whole time. She even called out the fake blogs, paid pages, and burner accounts that tried to twist her story with false info. "I have never done drugs. I have never drunk alcohol." That's what Dare said. And she's standing firm. So how does this all connect back to Nicki Minaj? Well, Nicki's been sounding the alarm on Desiree Perez and Jay-Z for years, but folks kept brushing her off, calling her bitter or jealous. Remember that messy back and forth between Nicki and Megan Thee Stallion last year? While people were focused on the diss tracks, Nicki dropped a serious warning, saying she was about to expose Desiree's shady power plays at Roc Nation. She even said Desiree had fired a bunch of Roc Nation staff for no clear reason. Nicki teased on a track. On the next song, I delve into all the people Desiree allegedly fired for unknown reasons. Other things as well. So many people were blindsided and hurt by her, allegedly. She also wrote, "She's willing to go broke to try to replace me. Fix it, Jesus." But now, it's coming out that these folks weren't just let go randomly. They were reportedly let go because they supported Nicki Minaj. And guess who's backing her up now? Desiree's own daughter, Dare. She's stepping up and saying Roc Nation and Desiree have been doing awful stuff behind the scenes to try to destroy Nicki's name. In a recent interview, Dare even claimed Roc Nation targeted her entire family, going after her husband and even her child. It's honestly heartbreaking. Dare compared Nicki's situation to her own forced hospitalization, and she didn't hold back. She said what Nicki went through is just another example of how dark things really get. Dare claimed Desiree and Roc Nation are way more twisted and dangerous than anyone out here truly understands. After Nicki saw Dare's lawsuit and all those interviews, she clapped back on X hard. She said, "To the PMs who claim it wasn't made clear to your ugly asses, hopefully Dare's massive and detailed page-by-page claim gets you all the way caught up." Then she added, "Never call me a liar, never insinuated either. Every single angel ever created fights for me at the mere mention of that word as it relates to me. Vengeance is the Lord's, be careful. No one who conspired on the wrong side will go unpunished for the role they played in this movie. I hope it was all worth it." Nicki made it clear. Roc Nation really did target her husband and child. She said powerful people are still trying to rip her family apart and keep her husband away from her and their kid. But things get even crazier. Remember when Nicki's house got swatted over and over again in 2023? Well, she's saying that wasn't random at all. It was part of Roc Nation's twisted campaign to break her down. The first swatting happened when someone called the cops claiming Nicki was harming her child. LAPD showed up, searched the house, and found nothing. But just hours later, another call came in saying there was a fire at her place. And it didn't stop there. Nicki believes every one of those fake emergency calls was part of a bigger plan to shake her up and mess with her life on a deep level. Then, just a few weeks later, boom, Nicki got hit again. This time, someone made a bogus 911 call claiming Nicki had been shot. Cops rushed over to her home, but once again, no crime, no evidence, nothing at all. According to the LA Times, the LA County Sheriff's Department got a call about a shooting in Hidden Hills. The caller said a friend had shot a black woman, but it turned out to be another swatting stunt. A neighbor even confirmed to the LA Times that law enforcement definitely rolled up to Nicki's place. At this point, it's obvious. This wasn't random. Nicki was being targeted on purpose, over and over, and it all happened while she was speaking out publicly against Roc Nation and hinting there was something way bigger going on behind the curtain. So, when Desiree Perez's own daughter comes out and says Roc Nation will destroy anybody who doesn't play by their rules, and right after that, Nicki gets swatted multiple times, with her child being dragged into it, you seriously have to ask, was this all part of some calculated move? Was Roc Nation trying to send a message? Because none of this feels like a coincidence anymore. And here's the thing. Desiree Perez isn't just some business exec. She's got a seriously dark past. Nicki got targeted because she finally said out loud what everybody else was too scared to whisper. That Roc Nation might not just be a record label. It could be a cover for federal operations targeting rappers. And at the heart of it all is Desiree Perez, a former convicted criminal who later became a government informant. According to the investigative account Resists Programming on X, Desiree got arrested back in 1994 for possession of 35 kilos of cocaine and conspiracy to distribute. Yeah, 35 kilos. The New York Daily News even confirmed the court records, showing she was federally charged for being part of a major trafficking operation that ran through New York, Florida, and Puerto Rico. And she wasn't running solo. Her husband, Juan O.G. Perez, was right there with her. And guess what? Juan's one of Jay-Z's tightest friends. The two go way back, and in the mid-90s, they even started the 40-40 Club together. Later on, Jay-Z appointed Juan as the president of Roc Nation Sports, and to this day, the two families are still close. Now, with Desiree's criminal history coming back into the spotlight, you might be wondering what actually happened to her after she got caught moving that weight. So here's the twist. Desiree Perez didn't serve hard time. Instead, she got just 5 years of probation. Why? Because she flipped and became a federal informant. She even wore a wire to help the feds take down some of her old crew. According to a 2014 report by the New York Daily News, the feds were more than happy with her work, calling her their star mole. That same article painted Desiree as a Manhattan nightclub manager with a long rap sheet and tight connections to hip-hop heavyweight Jay-Z. The report also said she had a wild past as a DEA cooperating witness and even spent time as a fugitive. Now, even though she eventually got pardoned, that doesn't mean she walked away from that snitch life. According to Nicki Minaj, both Desiree and Jay-Z are still working with the government. Nicki claims Roc Nation isn't just about music. It's a front for setting up artists and keeping the rap game under federal control. So who are the artists Roc Nation allegedly tried to take down? The most obvious one? Tory Lanez. Tory was convicted back in December 2022 for allegedly shooting Megan Thee Stallion, but the case was full of suspicious holes. Key evidence didn't add up. Gunshot residue didn't match the claim that Tory pulled the trigger. And bullet fragments that were supposedly pulled from Megan's foot? They straight up vanished. A doctor said he removed the fragments, but LAPD Detective Stogner later testified that they couldn't be found anywhere. On top of that, several witnesses claimed it was actually a woman who fired the shots. Tory's legal team questioned the bullet's trajectory and even brought up issues with how the evidence was handled. And just before he got sentenced, Tory called out Roc Nation, accusing them of setting the whole thing up. Right after that guilty verdict dropped, Tory Lanez's dad lost it outside the courthouse, yelling straight into the cameras. He shouted that Desiree Perez, Jay-Z, and Roc Nation trade and barter the souls of young men. The man was heated and fully convinced his son was caught in something way bigger than just a court case.
I got some names that I want to call. Alex Spiro, Desiree Perez, and the whole wicked system of Roc Nation, including you, Jay-Z.
Yes.
You who say you rose from the gutter, but you have traded and bartered the souls of young men, and you're still doing it.
But Tory's not the only one. Not even close. Just like Nicki warned, any rapper who dares to speak out against Roc Nation seems to end up in legal chaos. Look at 6ix9ine. He got slammed with the snitch label and dragged non-stop for cooperating with the feds during his RICO case. But here's what barely anyone brings up. 6ix9ine also went head-to-head with Roc Nation, and he even teamed up with Nicki to publicly call out Desiree Perez by name. Now that's a move that clearly came with consequences.
Rap game don't want y'all to know certain stuff, right? And I'm gonna expose the whole rap game right now because I got facts, right? This is what I do when I come on live. And shout out to the Queen Nicki, she'll be joining in just a few. She's an executive at Roc Nation. She's an executive at Roc Nation. You see her with Meek Mill. You know what I'm saying? She's an executive at Roc Nation. There she goes right here, right? Let's see who Desiree Perez is, right? The story that spooked Dash revealed how Perez, the wife of longtime Jay-Z wingman Juan Perez, became a cooperating witness for the DEA in the 1990s. Again, this is public information. This is public information.
And then you've got Casanova, another artist once tied to Roc Nation, who ended up slapped with major federal RICO charges. And guess what? The timing was way too suspicious. Casanova had just started speaking out about Roc Nation's shady business dealings, and just a few months later, the feds pulled up. On June 27th, Casanova, real name Caswell Sr., was sentenced to 188 months, that's 15 years, by U.S. District Judge Philip P. Halper. And how the whole indictment played out? It follows the same exact blueprint Nicki Minaj has been shouting about. Trap rappers into contracts, control them, and when they push back, set them up and watch them fall. But here's the real shocker. Nicki says Casanova's just the tip of the iceberg. She's got names, and not just of rappers. We're talking managers, judges, executives, and even media insiders allegedly caught up in all this mess. If Nicki really lets loose and drops everything she's got, we could be watching Roc Nation crumble right before our eyes. Don't forget, like, subscribe, drop a comment, and share this with somebody who needs to hear it. Catch you on the next one.